I'll share my ghost story. Only the second time I've ever shared it. I went to Letchworth Village Insane Asylum. If you don't know what it is, check out the video, or look it up. Basically, it was shut down, because it was just a sick fucked up place. Ghost Adventures actually had an episode there, after I went. If you want to learn the backstory, I'll either explain more later, or look it up. I just want to jump into my story. First time going, 2010 maybe. We went into the morgue, entering the room where they used to keep the brains from patients for research. In the back of the room, was this concrete room with no windows. I assume maybe it was a freezer. I'm not sure. All I know was I didn't want to go in it. It gave me this sick feeling in my gut. So I didn't go. A little down the hallway was the room they did autopsies in. Or I assume, because of the channels on the side of the table, that led to a hole. I guessed it was for blood. I had a friend lay down on the table. He said he felt warm and cereal when he got up. I laid down next. When I laid down I felt numb. Warm. I had what I can only assume was a vision, a memory that wasn't mine. I remember seeing a tall lanky doctor with short blonde hair. He was looking over me. The walls were painted, and the lights over me were bright. When I sat up the room was back to normal. The cold winter air hit me. I laid back down and I was right back in the memory. When I got off the table I spent the rest of the night in silence. All I wanted to do was lay back down. I didn't talk again until I was back at home. A year or so after that, 2011 I think. A friend had been going to Letchworth for about a week straight. He said every time he went a kid would mess with him and that I should come. So I did. We went to the morgue again. Immediately the atmosphere was different. It was charged, sad, lonely. We didn't go into the brain room this time, just went left, towards the rest of the facilities. We passed the autopsy room, and I was sad to see the table was gone. I'm pretty sure we found it a few rooms down. We got to the room with the fuses and generators and shit. All the copper wire has been stripped, so the place has no power. There was this little concrete box built out of the wall. A safe maybe. My friend stepped in it, the one who had been going every day for a week. He said he felt weird, and that I should step in. I felt weird outside of it, so I declined. We took a picture of him, pic above, and moved on. It only got worse from there. We went up to the second floor. This was mostly administrative offices I think. I'm not sure. All I know was we split up. Me and one friend, and the guy who was every day for a week, I'll call him friend M, he comes up a lot, got lost and went into a room. It was weird. We all said the same thing. It felt peaceful. Nothing spooky. We just sat and talked, abandoning our plan of scaring our other friends. Eventually we decided to look for our friends. We found them soon after. They looked shaken up. They claimed that in one room the phone was ringing on the hook. When they picked it up there was nothing. No dial tone. Nothing. They put it down and went to leave. Before they left the phone flew to the floor. Considering what happened to us next I believed them. We made our way to the staircase. Once we were there the door opened again, and shut softly again. Footsteps were walking towards us, but we saw nothing. We ran to the first floor, and once we got there we heard footsteps at the top step. Running down the hallway to the exit we could hear footsteps on the floor above it. We made it outside and my friends freaked out saying holy shit did you see that in the window? I was like nope. And I don't want to. Here have my flashlight. And kept going. A few seconds later they all ran screaming claiming they saw someone in the window. The room they saw the guy in was the same room the Ghost Adventures saw their shadow in BTW, and their show was filmed months after we went. We made our way to the staircase. Once we were there the door opened again, and shut softly again. Footsteps were walking towards us, but we saw nothing. We ran to the first floor, and once we got there we heard footsteps at the top step. Running down the hallway to the exit we could hear footsteps on the floor above it. We made it outside and my friends freaked out saying holy shit did you see that in the window? I was like nope. And I don't want to. Here have my flashlight. And kept going. A few seconds later they all ran screaming claiming they saw someone in the window. The room they saw the guy in was the same room the Ghost Adventures saw their shadow in BTW, and their show was filmed months after we went. We probably should have gone home, but friend M convinced us to go to the crematorium. I have no idea what they burned there, but it was still there, and got all over my shoes. Not much happened there, but we made our way to the roof. On the roof I felt at peace. Looking at Letchworth beneath me was like looking at a sea of bad mad emotions, but where I was fine. I didn't want to go back down. Nothing else really happened until I went home. Right in front of my driveway was a dead animal. Fucking scared the shit out of me. Had to half drive on the grass, to not run it over. Fast forward to 2014. Went to abandoned prison Lorton Reformatory with a friend. We went just before sundown in the winter. We pretty much spent the whole night just trying to find a way in. Fucking you wouldn't believe how hard it is to break into a prison. There were 2 security guards who would drive around the facility, and we kept an eye on them. They didn't bother us at all, didn't even ask questions. It was late by the time we made it to the other side of the prison. We kept noticing what looked like flashlights in the windows of the prison every so often, and assumed someone had to have made it in, even if we couldn't. Anyway, it was fucking cold. It was winter. We finally found some barracks or something that looked easy to enter by hopping a little fence. The security guards had been gone for a while. We could see in both directions and there was no headlights. We were confused because they should have made a pass again by now. It was pretty regular. But they were still gone. So we were about to jump the fence when we heard what sounded like footsteps in the snow. My friend looked behind me and I looked behind him. He saw nothing, but I saw what looked like something on the roof. I thought I saw a giant bird land on the roof just before the sound of footsteps. I pointed it out to him and he saw it too. We could see its silhouette against the night sky as the sky was somewhat lit by the stars. It would poke its head up every so often and then crawl along the roof towards us. We were frozen. It made its way to us. Once at the edge of the building, it swung down, hanging from the ledge, making an L shape against the building before dropping. We saw its full body against the night sky. It was like a slightly misshapen person. Super skinny, long arms, and pitch black. We booked it. Once at the edge of the road, we just looked, waiting for it to come after us. It didn't. We stood under one of the streetlights. We could hear what sounded like things falling off all the roofs around us into the snow. After about 10 minutes, the security guard finally came back. He stopped at the same space we saw the thing fall. We left no footmarks, so he couldn't have seen our feet in the snow leading to that. He just stopped. We walked up to him and went to talk to him, asked him if he's ever seen anything here. He didn't say much, and we went on our way. About 5 minutes later, he came back around and demanded we leave. He said we shouldn't be here after dark. Mind you, we were there for like 4 hours at least after dark. We didn't argue, but we did see an open door into one of the buildings. We were pissed. That was our way in. We left, and got to my Jeep I parked in the woods. While leaving, we got no cell phone service. We tried to call a friend to tell him what happened. I began having nightmares after that. Flashbacks to Letchworth. Each night before I have one, I get hit with insomnia, then feelings of dread and despair until I fall asleep with an elevated heart rate. The most memorable one was where my friend, the one from the prison, was being haunted. His sister, he doesn't have one, said we needed to call the ghost to us, and if we each took it on together we could kill it. I woke up from the ghost in the dream suffocating me. I went to touch my face after a second, and felt a cold child's hand brush against mine, like it was moving away. I say child's, because the pink side of the palm brushed against my hand, and it was short and fat. Like a kid's hand. I have a very religious and spiritual friend tell me, if I go against something will follow me. I want to go back. I want to enter that building. I want to go to Lech again. Since then I've had a lot of creepy dreams about these places and some other spooky stories. Okay. So here's one that happened between Letchworth and the prison. Sitting in bunk. Start having a dream about ghosts. Friend had a sister in this dream. He doesn't Earl. His sister was some kind of spiritual medium. I walked into his apartment to help him. There was a demon possessing either him or her. I can't remember. I want to say him though. His sister told us we needed to sit together in a circle and bring the demon to us so we could fight it together. So we did. Then everything went to shit. It came after just me, and I got overwhelmed. Everything went to black. I woke up in a field. It was a weird kind of field. The only thing in it was a barn. I walked to it. Inside was nothing but cages. I started to feel a pressure in my head and started to panic. I pulled my phone out and on the screen was a fast-paced slideshow of Letchworth. Every few frames was the face in that pic. Faster and faster it went. I looked up and the face was there. I blacked out. I woke up at a bus stop. I took a bus to my friend's house. Once there I went inside. His apartment was destroyed. His sister lay weeping in the center. She kept apologizing over and over in hysteria. I finally got her to tell me why. She said it came for you. Only you. It's yours now. Then it was there. It jumped on me and began to suffocate me. I woke up with a gasp. Eyes still closed, I took a deep breath. I went to rub my face, and as I reached for it, I felt a hand pulling away. The side of its left palm and pinky brushing against my hand. It was small and cold. I woke up fast after that. Nothing was there.